When we think about the absolute cutting edge of air power, one name always seems to pop up first.
Lockheed Martin.
Exactly. For decades now, they've really been leading the charge with stealth fighter tech.
Yeah.
I mean, you think Nighthawk, the F-22 Raptor.
And the F-35 Lightning II, of course.
Yeah,
Iconic aircraft.
absolutely. They've just, well, dominated that space, consistently pushing aerospace innovation forward. Their track record kind of speaks for itself.
It really does.
Okay, so let's get right into it today. We're doing a deep dive into Lockheed Martin's F-35 program.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, we want to look at their production plans and, maybe more importantly, how they're adapting after, well, losing out on the next generation air dominance competition.
The NGAD, yeah. Now called the F-47 and awarded to Boeing. That was late March. President Trump announced it.
Right, so for you, our learner audience, we're going to unpack what this shift means for the future of the F-35. We'll try to keep it clear, keep it focused.
And losing that NGAD bid, well, it's definitely a big deal for Lockheed. I mean, given their history developing these top-tier stealth fighters.
This is supposed to be the next big thing, right? Sixth generation.
Exactly. But what's really interesting, I think, is how quickly they've responded.
Which seems to be basically doubling down on the F-35.
Mm-hmm.
We heard from CEO James Taiclet, didn't we, on the earnings call Tuesday. He said they won't protest the NGAD decision.
No protest. Instead, they're shifting focus, taking technologies they developed for their NGAD bid.
And putting them into the existing F-35. It's quite a pivot, a bold one.
It really is. Taiclet actually put a number on it. He said the aim is to achieve, quote, 80% of sixth-gen capability at half the price for the F-35.
80% of sixth gen for half the cost. Wow.
Yeah. It strongly suggests they believe the F-35's core platform, its strengths, can be seriously amplified by adding these newer, advanced technologies they've already worked on.
He used some pretty vivid analogies too, didn't he? Talking about turning the F-35 chassis into a Ferrari.
Or giving it a NASCAR upgrade. Yeah. Really paints a picture of their ambition for this.
So what kind of tech are we actually talking about here? What could make that much of a difference to an already advanced jet?
Well, several key areas seem likely. Taiclet specifically mentioned improved sensors.
Okay.
He highlighted better passive infrared sensors. Now, these are crucial because they let the F-35 spot enemy aircraft much further away.
Without sending out any signals itself, right? Without
Yep.
giving away its own position.
Exactly. That's a massive advantage in stealth warfare. Totally passive detection.
Yeah, that fits right in with President Trump's stated desire for pilots to shoot the other guy before he even knows we're there.
Yeah.
Makes that first shot absolutely critical.
Precisely. And beyond sensors, we can probably expect upgrades to the stealth tech itself.
So better materials,
Hmm.
different shapes.
Uh-huh. Advancements in what they call low observable materials, special coatings, composites, that kind of thing, making it harder for radar to get a lock. And refining the aircraft's shape, its geometries, to better deflect radar waves. Plus, newer tracking systems and longer-range weapons are almost certainly part of this potential upgrade package, too.
Got it. Now, let's shift gears slightly to production. How many F-35s are they actually planning to build? What are the numbers looking like?
Okay, so for 2025, the projection is delivery of between 170 and 190 F-35s.
170 to 190? That's still a lot of planes.
It is. And they also have a pretty substantial backlog right now, around 360 aircraft already on order.
Wow, okay.
So that points to continued, strong demand for the F-35 platform globally.
There has been some chatter, though, hasn't there, about potential changes, maybe reductions in future U.S. orders for the F-35. Is Lockheed worried about keeping those production lines running hot?
Well, Taiclet addressed that directly. He expressed confidence, basically, in keeping a production rate above 150 aircraft per year.
Above 150, how?
Primarily through international sales. The F-35 has become, a really key aircraft for many U.S. allies.
Right, lots of partner nations.
Yeah, exactly. And their continued demand provides a kind of buffer, a cushion against any potential tweaks in domestic U.S. orders down the line.
So it sounds like even with losing out on NGAD, the F-35 program itself is still in a pretty strong position financially and product-wise.
Absolutely. Seems that way. They're not just keeping production going, they're actively planning to significantly boost the plane's capabilities.
Making it even more attractive, potentially.
You could see it that way. There's actually a bit of a parallel here with what Boeing did with the F-15EX.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, the F-15EX is essentially a heavily modernized version of a fourth-generation fighter, the F-15. But they packed it with some fifth-generation technologies. People sometimes call it a, 4.5 generation aircraft.
Ah, okay, so bridging the gap.
Kind of.
Hmm.
And it feels like Lockheed Martin is aiming for a similar kind of leap forward with the F-35 now, creating what you might call a fifth generation plus fighter, taking the best of the fifth gen platform and adding sixth gen spice.
Fifth generation plus. I like that. And what about sharing these upgrades, these international partners you mentioned? Will they get access to this new tech, this Ferrari engine?
Well, Lockheed certainly intends to make as much of this upgraded capability exportable as possible. They know how important those global partners are.
Will it?
But it's crucial to remember the U.S. government always has the final say on what specific technologies can be shared with other nations, especially the really sensitive stuff.
Right, export controls, always a factor. Okay, before we wrap this up, we probably need to touch on the TR-3 upgrade. That's been challenging.
Yeah, the Technology Refresh 3, or TR3, it's been a bit of a headache. It's a really critical hardware and software upgrade for the F-35.
Critical how? What does it actually do?
Think of TR3 as like a massive computer system overhaul for the jet, upgrading its core processors, its memory, its software architecture, basically giving it the digital backbone needed to handle all the much more advanced systems and capabilities planned for the future, like these Block 4 improvements.
So it's the foundation for this fifth gen plus idea.
Pretty much. It's essential for enabling these future enhancements. And yeah, there have been delays. Reports say about 98% of the TR3 capabilities are done, but the whole system isn't quite ready for combat use yet.
Weren't deliveries paused because of TR3 issues?
They were, yes. F-35 deliveries were halted for a while due to the TR-3 integration problems, but they have since resumed. So progress is being made, but it's definitely something they need to get fully sorted.
Okay, good context. So wrapping this all together then, the main takeaway seems to be Lockheed Martin lost the NGAD bid,
A definite setback.
but they're not dwelling on it. They're strategically pivoting hard towards heavily upgrading the existing F-35.
Right. Using technology they developed for NGAD to try and create the significantly enhanced 5th Gen Plus fighter, aiming for near 6th Gen performance, but at a lower cost than a whole new platform.
Maximizing the potential of the powerhouse they already have in the F-35.
Precisely. They're leveraging those established production lines, the huge existing fleet, the international partnerships, essentially betting that a souped-up F-35 can remain a dominant force for many years to come.
Which really raises a fascinating question for the future, doesn't it? What are the implications of this strategy for, the balance of air power globally, for international arms sales? Will this fifth generation plus approach really extend the F-35's reign? Or will the actual sixth generation F-47 eventually make even this upgraded F-35 look, well, obsolete?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? Something definitely worth watching.
Absolutely. And look, if you found this focused deep dive into Lockheed Martin's F-35 strategy useful, if you found it insightful,
So,
and you want to stay plugged into these kinds of really critical shifts happening in the defense industry, then please do consider subscribing to our channel.
yeah, and hitting that notification bell really helps us out.
It absolutely does. It's genuinely the best way to support the work we do in bringing you these kinds of in-depth analyses, trying to unpack these complex, important topics. So thanks for tuning in today.